guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 8, episode 13. So let's get into it, y'all. If I sound tired, I am. I've been running a lot of errands today, and I feel like me sitting down, it's like the tiredness is it's like a wave just coming over me. But let's get into this review. So the episode opens up and we are at Mia and Gordon's apartment. And I put emphasis on apartment because someone tried to say they live in a penthouse. I said, do y'all not see how when they open up the door, it's other doors to other people's apartments? That's an apartment. A penthouse is what Alexia had in Real Housewives of Miami. And even her new place. Girl, you have a specific floor you go straight to that you have a code to get to. That's a penthouse, okay? Not what you got going on. But we're at Gordon and Mia's place. Mia is catching Gordon up on what happened at the Happy Eddie event. Again, I'm on Mia's side for the simple fact of if you invited me just because somebody else fell through and I wasn't initially your first invite, I don't want to be there. So you being mad at me don't make sense to me. And Karen's argument didn't make sense either. So then Ashley pops up. It looks like Mia is settling into her role of being the person that asks everybody questions because she did it with Robin. She did it with Wendy in Texas, and now she's doing it with Ashley. So they sit down and talk. Mia brings up her whole situation with Gordon where she's like, me and Gordon went out and, we talked about you and Michael's divorce, and he's just kind of like, being a kept woman is a pretty good deal. Like, when are you guys going to divorce? You know what I'm saying? Ashley's like, it's coming. I just like the cushion that I have right now. And then Mia explains how, Gordon told me like we would set up an arrangement if a divorce situation ever arises, like we wouldn't get a divorce. And I honestly think that's what's happening with Mia and Gordon's son. That's what that boy looked like. I know he's not his son, but that boy looked just like a younger version of Gordon. He could either be Gordon's cousin or little brother. Either way, Mia has a specific type, but she posting pictures with him. The funny thing about it is like, I think Mia is a little bit smarter than what we give her credit for, because if this is because I don't think they're going to get a divorce. I think this is them soft launching the arrangement that they have with this boy. And the interesting thing about it is he look like he gives stunts and shows to me. He really gives like if he gets on Bravo, he gonna be with the ish. And I feel like that's coming for next season. But they then start talking about, again, when is Ashley going to divorce Michael? And she talks about the whole cushion thing. Pretty much what it is Ashley is in survival mode and she's thinking about her situation with Michael from a place of lack. We find out that her mama was unstable, and we could tell that with Sheila and them wigs. But pretty much they've got evicted multiple times. There's been times where they pulled with her. She gave an example of when her grandma picked her up and dropped her off at her house, and all their stuff was on the side of the road. And she was like, I have 2 kids. I would never want that to happen to me. And so right now she's just with Michael because she's too scared to go off on her own because she feels like that is what's going to happen. And it also leads me to believe that the way I felt about Ashley has always been correct when it comes to her issues with Candace. And it's funny because Candace ate Ashley up at the reunion where she was just looking at Ashley like, you were talking trash about my mom. Like me living in a townhouse that my mom like purchased versus you living in this house that this man that you don't really want to be with, who treats you like garbage. That doesn't make sense. And Ashley was holding to her guns that like what she was doing was the right thing and that like she's an adult, and it's like, you're no better. Honestly, to me, you're worse than, because Candace's situation to me was never bad. The only thing bad about it was the way Mama Dot would be acting. But being able to live in a house that your parents have paid off is always a blessing. That's one less bill you don't have to pay for. Whereas Ashley is still putting up with someone that it seems like she doesn't want to be in a relationship with like that because she's too afraid or she does not have the means to take care of herself. That makes no sense to me. So, and I just always felt like she was jealous of Candace because the difference between them is that because they're both virtually around the same age. Ashley is 35 and I think Candace is 37. And it's like they both were pageant girls. They both married white men. The only difference is Candace married Chris because she was in love with him. It seems like Ashley married Michael because she liked him and she got daddy issues and he had money. And Candace's mama can be a lot, but she cares about her daughter and she made good decisions, whereas going to school and having the means and the money, whereas Ashley mama seems like is a pick-me and was constantly making horrible decisions. So you can see that there's a jealous and envy when it comes to Ashley and Candace's situation. More so on Ashley's side. But I just think it's crazy that she been on this show since season 1. We're on season 8 and it's like, why don't you have the means to take care of yourself? Were you not saving those checks? I've heard people mention that Ashley has a yoga studio. My bad, y'all. Has a yoga studio. And I'm just kind of like, is it not profitable? Like, is it not making money? Because I would think if the yoga studio is doing well, then maybe she could use that money to live on her own without him. Like, I don't think she should have ever bought that house if she couldn't pay for it for herself. And like, either she's living in Annandale or Alexandria. Both places are expensive. Like, I've told y'all before, I grew up in the DMV area. And so I know that it's expensive, but I was just like, I didn't get why they got that house. To me, she should have just got a townhouse that was like 4 bedrooms and called it a day and kept it pushing. But it also lends credence to what people have been saying about Ashley and Michael not really getting a divorce. It's just that he no longer wanted to be a part of the show, and this was their way of doing that, because this don't make sense to me. Okay, but we found out that the girls are going to the DR. Okay, it's Robin's trip, and she invited everybody, even Kiarna, and we find out that it's going to be during Ashley's birthday, so everybody's excited for that. We know the last time they went somewhere, that I think they went to Mexico for Ashley's birthday, they had that whole blow up between Jacqueline and Mia. And they showed that again, but we move on. So we finally get to sit down between Wendy and Nneka. And honestly, I feel like this should have happened sooner, but hey, that's just me. Okay, so they sit down. Wendy's energy is very much, girl, I'm just here so I don't get fired. I don't really want to talk to you. I really don't want to give you the time of day. Nneka seems like she's really trying to make amends with Wendy, but Wendy is just kind of like, girl, I'm kind of over you. And they started talking about the whole situation. And here's my thing. I think they're both telling the truth, to be honest. I honestly think the main culprit in all of this is Lebe. I really do think. I feel like had Lebe never called or relayed the message that was relayed to her by Mama Susie, Wendy and Nneka probably would have been able to coexist and maybe built a friendship, because when they first met at Ashley's house, they were very much cordial to one another. So to me, I feel like Lebe is patient zero. I really do. I feel like she is mad that her and Ivy aren't friends anymore, and she wants to burn everything down. Because what really made me look at Lebe kind of like is last episode when Lebe came over to Nneka's house, and then we saw Chica, her other friend. The way Lebe was like sipping on that drink and like eyeing that girl down gave very much like, oh, you invited her? Like, it gave like frenemy fake energy. I want to only be one. She gave very much Gretchen Wiener vibes. Like, you can't sit with us table kind of energy, okay? She really gave me that. She wants to make fetch happen, and it's not happening for her. Because we know Mama Susie called Lebe, but I genuinely think Mama Susie was cussing Lebe out in the name of the Holy Spirit. Like, don't get me wrong, I really do think that lady cussed that girl out, but I don't think it had anything really to do with Nneka. She might have mentioned Nneka. It probably would have been like, tell your cousin to stop talking about my family type energy or using my family like that. But I don't think it's as sinister as she's trying to make it seem. And I feel like Nneka, to me, jumped the gun, being guns a-blazing at the pickleball and like telling Wendy to clear that ish up, calling her a B and all of that stuff. And I feel like you really didn't vet the information that was given to you, because I had to give Wendy a point where she was like, girl, what you're telling me is he said, she said, it's hearsay. But what I'm saying to you is factual. You call me a bitch and you call my mom a witch, and you know the cultural and social implications of that. Now, I would not be this mad if somebody called my mama a witch. Now, call her a bitch, I might get active. More than likely, I am going to get active and you catching a fade to the mouth. Okay? But calling my mama a witch, but I also understand that I am African American, a Black American, proud to be one, my people, my culture, and I'm not Nigerian or Nigerian American, so I don't have that cultural understanding of that. Now, I know in the Black community, you call somebody a witch, yeah, we kind of be like, it's like, ooh, that person's scary, or you stay away from them. But I have seen people make comments on other YouTubers, videos, and even on Twitter about how labeling somebody's family that can have like cultural and social implications where that person is ostracized, as well as it can be detrimental in the sense of like people can face bodily harm. So, and even with the whole like curse situation, like Nneka was getting emotional at the table talking about her people overseas praying for her. Wendy is like, this is affecting her kids because you called their mom a witch. Like, it's a lot of stuff going on, but ultimately to me, I think they're both telling the truth. I think Wendy's mom probably called that lady, but I don't think she submitted that girl's name to a shrine. I think she called Lebe and cussed her out. Lebe put 20 on 10, and I think Wendy's story about like, no, I asked my mom and they like legit like are denying it and they're saying it didn't happen and I believe my family. I think two things can be true. I think patient zero is Lebe, and she the one that caused all of this, and that's who everybody need to have the energy for. Now, when we get to this reunion, if they bring up the shrine thing, if she ain't got a recording of this situation or anything like that, I don't want to hear it anymore, because at this point, people believe who they want to believe. Some people believe Nneka, some people believe Wendy. At this point, I don't care. So pretty much the conversation really doesn't go anywhere. Wendy just tells Nneka, we can be cordial, we can move forward. Nneka brings up the whole crackhead comment, which I feel like was a throwaway and it didn't make sense coming out of Wendy's mouth. It was stupid. But pretty much Wendy's like, you know what? I want to move on. I can be cordial. We can coexist, but I don't see us becoming friends or anything like that. And so she gets up and walks away. Production actually comes and asks Nneka if she's okay, because she started crying at the table. And I'm like, what are you crying for? Then she's talking about her family is bullying her. Like Wendy's family is bullying Nneka. But I'm like, you don't have any evidence of that. People just saying they don't want you mentioning their name because they feel like you clout chasing is not bullying, in my opinion. Unless they are actively doing things to you, you're not getting bullied. So the whole crying at the table really didn't move me. It just makes me feel like Nneka overplayed her hand. And I think she probably thought she was going to be met with a lot different type of energy than what she got from Wendy. And maybe she wanted to build a friendship with her. This scene with Candace and Chris, I don't like the way they talk to each other. Like, sometimes it's okay because I can see the banter. Other times I'd be like, y'all got to work on your communication skill. You need to talk to me with kindness. Okay. But Candace is showing off this purse that she got from Dior. It's like $24,000. Like I said, $2,400. Chris is complaining about how she ain't need to spend all of that on the purse. He then talks about how like she's always on the road and he wants to spend more time with her. Candace is very short with him. She's like, I want to be with you too, but we got a lot of things going. And the issue is I have with Candace is you wanted that man to quit his job last season. I think he ended up getting fired or laid off. And now he at the house, he's doing content creating, and it's all right. I mean, until he reaches a certain number, he probably is not making the money that he used to make, but it's coming. A lot of people have told me Chris's cooking classes are actually fun and the food that they make is actually really good. So there's that. They then start talking about her health journey with the lump. Her family has a history of breast cancer. It is benign. We see them reading off of an article about it saying that it's not anything that's cancerous, but she's stressed out about it. She's also worried about the whole IVF situation because she's like, or she was worried about if those hormones are going to affect the mass, which can happen. And then she talks about, like, Chris is like, so are we trying to have a baby? Are we not trying to have a baby? And she's like, she wants to have a baby. Like, she thinks about it all the time. But I feel like she's like, I don't know if it's time yet, since she's trying to get her career off the ground, really. They then get into it because she started, like, Candace is starting to spiral. And Chris pretty much cuts her off and is like, okay, you're good. The doctor says you're fine. Let's move on. And I saw that some people didn't like that. But for me, as someone who does spiral, sometimes you need somebody to tell you, girl, you're good. Chill out. Because I feel like that's what was happening for Candace. But we're glad that she's okay. We then get this scene of Giselle with her daughters. I guess it's graduation day for Grace. She looked really pretty in her outfit. The twins look cute as well. Honestly, I like Giselle's kids. I don't like Giselle, but I like her kids. I think she has really sweet kids. I thought the book that the twins made for Grace was very sweet. It was pictures of them. She was tearing up, and I'm happy that they have that close sister bond. Like, I love my sister down, okay? Like, that's my homie. That's my ride or die. And it's crazy because I remember she did something similar for me when I was leaving school, leaving to go to college. And so I know that she felt that. She felt love when her sisters did that for her. Giselle talking about she is happy for Grace. She's gonna miss her. You know, she's the first one to leave. She's talking about she prepared her for this mean, cruel world. And I said, I mean, you mean and cruel, so I guess. But yeah, they embrace each other. Giselle is proud of her daughter. Honestly, for the most part, we could say that Giselle is a good mom based off of the product of her children. That's what we see, but we know now that only you can tell somebody that's a good parent if you were parent by them. But her kids seem like well-adjusted kids. And it was really nice to see when they did the flashback of them 7 years ago being young girls to now being, you know, Grace is going off to college. Like, that's crazy that we saw her grow up. So I really do hope she's having a good time at FAMU and she's doing good in school. We get this scene of Robin, Mia, and NECA meeting up. They're shopping for the Dominican Republic trip. And production is shady because they did not have to show that they only spent $65. Now, mind you, if that was me, that's one thing. But y'all are supposed to be giving us something. And I was watching Sakina's video. Go watch her channel. She has good content. I be watching Ready to Love because I don't watch the show, but I love the way she makes her thumbnails. She puts like the clown emojis or has like little quips about people. And I'm kind of like, I don't watch this show, but I want to understand why you said this person is a clown. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So check her out. I'll put her stuff on the screen so you can go look her up. But she said in her review for Potomac how, like, these trips are too obtainable. And she's not lying. I can get a flight to the DR, okay? And I can get a flight to Austin. I want y'all to go places like that I have to like save for at least like 6 to 7 months for. You know what I mean? Like the girlies for where'd they go? I think the closest trip to Potomac right now would be the girls in Miami. But their trip seems more luxurious, okay? Like, you know, Adriana performed at Mexican Pride. You got them going on the gondola ride was from hell. But they went on the gondola ride. Their hotel rooms, no one had to argue about a hotel room. Everybody got their own room to themselves. They went to that beautiful church. Like, their trip, like, because I mean, all they went to was Palm Beach and Mexico. I could go to those places as well, but the vibe was different. You know what I mean? Like, the vibe just feels pedestrian, and I hate it. Okay? But they're at this cute little boutique buying outfits, and pretty much they asked Mia, I think NECA asked Mia, like, girl, how are you and Karen? And Mia's like, I know, like, Karen is fun when she's fun. When she's not fun, she's not fun. I know how to handle Karen. It's okay. They then talk about her meeting up with, what's her name? With Wendy. NECA and Wendy meeting up. And pretty much Robin says, oh, she's deflecting because she talks about how Wendy didn't take accountability for anything that happened and yada, 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 yada. Okay. I just feel as though it's, to me, it would be hard if I was them in this group to take a side in this situation now, because like I said, I believe both of them, but I didn't hear the conversation, and all we have is he said, she said. It would be better for them to have Lebe, Wendy, and NECA sit down, and Ivy and Mama Susie sit down, so this conversation could happen, and hear Lebe say word for word what was said, and then let Mama Susie refute it or not. Because to me, it's kind of like, I don't know if I could really take a side that Wendy, like Robin said, Wendy is deflecting, if I didn't hear the conversation for myself. You know? And I mean, I guess they're saying that they think Wendy did it because her mama's post about Mia. But that post her mama had when she said she raining down Holy Ghost hellfire was warranted when you threw a drink in that girl's face and Mia hit that girl in the head with a purse. You assaulted her child. She has every right to curse your name, in my opinion. But I just feel like, I don't know if I could take that standpoint. You know, if I was there, or if I was in the friend group. But they're all moving on. We see everybody pull up to the airport. Everyone's excited to go to the DR. I think I already said, but Kiana is coming. We find out that, I guess, Kiana and Giselle know each other. So Robin was like, you can come too. I like her. She seems like she would be fun. I just hate that we haven't really gotten to know her. And we're on episode 12, the same way when they brought in Anne-Marie on, I think, like episode 7. Like, I don't get why we're waiting so late to introduce these friends of the show, because she seems cool. Her confessional, she looked pretty to me. She looked rich and pretty. Like, and I don't, like, she is just very pretty. I really feel like this is what I want the girls to give me in these confessionals. And I saw people felt like some people were gassing her, like they didn't believe that she looked that good. And I saw a few people bring up like Giselle, like if Giselle would have wore this outfit, y'all would have like laughed at it, but I wouldn't have. Like, this to me, if Giselle had this on, I think Giselle would have looked pretty too. If she had this on and she either had like her hair was either, I don't know, bone straight. No, legit, if her hair was like slicked back, it kind of like Kiana's, slicked back, and maybe if she had like a headband, like giving very much like Hillary Banks, like young, rich, and like, you know, fly, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that outfit would have been cute on Giselle if she would have like went all the way with it, like with the theme, like had on a cute headband, had the hair swooped down like bone straight, or very like, you know, same with the headband, but the hair was like blown out or very wavy. I think she would have looked cute. I thought the outfit was cute with the big bow. I like bows, so it would have ate for me if I would have saw her in that, you know what I mean? But she's on the trip. Unfortunately, she has like an ulcer, and she was having issues maybe with the altitude of flying and then landing, and you know, they on the island, it's hot. So they get to the actual, they're on so this is the thing, they're on the Sprinter. Kiana's letting them know she got her mommy like back, so I guess she has children as well. And they're talking, Mia is talking about how like she been going through it with Gordon, and if you see her laid out on the beach half naked or with somebody, don't say nothing. And I really do feel like she's trying to soft launch this relationship with that little boy. But we're like, okay, Mia, I guess my whole thing about Mia is like, I get it. You and Gordon are having issues, but we don't need to keep hearing it every time we see you, girl. We get it. He lost his money. You don't really like that y'all living in your means anymore. You want to live beyond them. You want to be back in Potomac in that big house that y'all renovated for no reason that you didn't own. But I just feel like we get it, Mia. You sick of Gordon. Then Karen tells us that the place that they're going, which I think is called Villa Playa, or no, Casa de Campo or something like that. This is where Ray goes when he goes to play golf. Like, he always comes to the DR to play golf. That's what him and his buddies do. Now, everybody on the plane is like, saying that, the golf trips, especially in the DR, the boys be getting their women out here. Mia want to chime in and be like, I was the girl that they took on the golf trips. I said, okay, Mia, we get it. You were a whore. We get it. And you still won. We get it, girl. And so they do this reenactment of Karen actually calling the villa because she wanted to know what her man was doing. And this lady picks up the phone and Karen almost went off, but we find out that it was a maid. Giselle's talking about like when do maids answer phones. And I was like, they always answer. I always like they're housekeepers. Like, and if it's a villa, they have housekeepers. They have a staff. Like the staff phone was ringing. But I mean, he could have been out there doing philandering things. It's the Dominican Republic. I watched 90 Day Fiance. The men and women go out there for sex tourism, and we're not gonna act like they don't. So he could have been doing it, but Giselle sounded stupid to me talking about when do maids answer phones. Maids definitely answer phones. Housekeepers answer phones, Giselle. But they get to the villa. It's really nice. It's 8 bedrooms, 4 singles, 4 doubles, and there's 9 women. So we know 4 of the girls are getting their own room. The other 4 either have a double or they have to, or they're going to share a room. But one group has to share a room because everybody else can have a double. The villa's nice. I thought Candace's confessional was actually cute. I think she looks really pretty with auburn hair. She should keep it. She makes a comment about like, did Juan pay for this? Because we know he liked to pay for hotels. Some of the Robinettes was up in arms about that comment, but I thought it was funny because we have proof that man does do that. But I think Robin did a good job. The villa is pretty. The pool is nice. The view is gorgeous. So they're all waiting to get their room assignments. And we find out that Ashley, because I got really confused and I had to write it down. So there's 4 bedrooms that have a single bed, probably a queen size bed. And then there's 4 bedrooms that have double beds. And so Giselle got her own room because she normally is always sharing a room with with Robin. But pretty much, because this is Robin's trip, she decided to give Giselle her own room. Ashley got her own room because they're down there and it's her birthday weekend. Or her birthday. Yeah, it's the week of her birthday or her birthday's on the weekend. So she got her own room. Robin got her own room because she's hosting the trip. And then they gave NECA, I think, her own room because this is her first girls trip out. When normally that room would have went to Karen. Karen has never shared a room. So she I ain't been sharing a room for 8 seasons and I'm not for 7 seasons. And on season 8, I'm not sharing a room with none of y'all. So she got copped an attitude. Karen was not happy. Kiarna, Wendy, Candace, Mia, and Karen were the only 5 that did not have that. Like one of them was going to have to share a room with somebody else. Well, it looks like Kiarna got a room by herself because she was confused until Wendy was like, no, girl, you got a double. Go get your room. Some people were feeling like Wendy was icing out. I think Giselle said something about Wendy icing out Kiarna, and I was like, that didn't make sense to me, other than the girl is having bathroom issues as well as she got a room to herself. So Kiarna got a room to herself. Wendy and I think Candace got rooms to themselves, and then Mia I think was going to have to share with either Candace or with Wendy. But then it ended up being she shared the room with Ashley because Ashley gave her room to Karen because Karen was throwing a hissy fit about having to share a room. She was talking about dropping an extra $5,000 to get like a different, I don't know if she wasn't, because they're in a villa. They're not at like a hotel. So she was talking about dropping extra money to get another room or something, or to buy. It didn't make sense to me because ultimately it didn't end up happening. Ashley was like, I'll give you my room. Like, you don't have to leave. I'll give you my room. I'll go stay with Mia. And at first, I think Karen thought she was going to like share it just didn't make sense, y'all, because I thought Karen was doing too much. I understood not wanting to share a room or wanting to share a living space with somebody if you don't have to. But I'm like, you're on vacation. Just share the room. Suck it up. I actually was on Robin's side when Robin was like, girl, Like, if you doing too much. Then Robin and Karen start going back and forth. It was real childish because Robin ended up doing like, no, no, no. Like, it was real stupid and petty. But I just feel like Karen could have just shared the room. Ashley better than me, because Karen would have been just sleeping on that couch she was sitting on. Because Karen talking about, I'm just going to sit on this couch. Like, she was complaining. But then Robin got upset because Ashley was like, I'll just room with Mia. So then we see... Candace killed me when she popped her head out that door while they was arguing. But we see Karen and Wendy and Candace, because Candace and Wendy were sitting at the pool because they were happy with their room situation, even though they had two doubles. Karen goes and sits down and tells Robin to shut up because Ashley like agreed to it, but she didn't think it was fair for Ashley to give up her room to Karen, which is understandable. So we find out that the ladies are going to do nighttime golf or evening golf, and then they're going to go eat. So everyone's getting ready. Before they all go and do their excursion, we see them do some stupid ceremony. Now, mind you, y'all, the ceremony I don't think was malicious. I just thought it was hella corny. They got NECA a Grand Dame sash with the Potomac area code that she lives in on it. They said she's the new Grand Dame because she lives in Potomac. They crowned her. Candace was like, this is stupid. She felt like what Giselle was doing was malicious, so she left to go back to her room to get something. I don't think what Giselle did was to be malicious. I think she thought it was funny. And to me, I feel as though Candace overreacted. But I also understand that when someone has hurt you the way that Candace was hurt by Giselle, you see everything they do as being malicious and mean-spirited because they did it to you and they never took ownership or never apologized. So you just think that she just thinks Giselle's a horrible person. But I just felt like the whole thing was kind of corny. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I got like they were trying to make a funny moment about it, but it wasn't. I was like, okay, y'all. I just thought it was corny. That's just me. You could think it was funny. I just thought it was corny. So yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and definitely drop down in them comments below. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.